Hey everybody, Alex from SeemsGoodMagic.com here. We're doing another Fate Reforged Swiss draft. Open Citadel Siege. So I haven't gotten a chance to play with this card yet, but I've certainly played against it. And it's very, very good, as you might expect. So it seems like Cons is usually the one you want to pick with it, because you get the renewable +1/+1 counters. But I guess if you're about to die, Dragons seems like a pretty good option too. So definitely taking it. I do like the Siege cycle. Very good limited cycle. Okay, follow-up pick. Let's look at the strongest cards in this pack. Well, I think we're just going to take Sandblast because it's on color. But there's also Bathe in Dragonfire, which is arguably better than Sandblast because they don't have to be attacking or blocking for you to deal damage to them. But they're certainly close enough where I'm just going to take the on-color one. What else is good in here? Honestly, not that much beyond the Bathe in Dragonfire and the Sandblast. So, kind of lucky of us to continue to stay on color. I guess, I mean, a Whisk Away is okay too, but not as good as Bathe or Sandblast, I wouldn't think. Guess it depends on the deck. All right, wow, a couple dragons left in here. Scroll to Masters. Which is a card I like, but it usually tables, so I think I'm comfortable passing it for now. I mean, yeah, there's a couple dragons. I'm kind of looking at the soul summons. There is a Whisper of the Wilds, which is also good. Soul Summons is good, though, and it keeps us in white until we see a very clear indication of what's open. There's also a Reach of Shadows, which is good removal. And I could take that and go black-white now, which I'm not opposed to. And there's a Harsh Sustenance. So really, it's like stay on color and stay more open, or take the removal. That's a better card, but immediately moves me into black-white. That's a good question. I kind of want to just take the Soul Summons. See what's open. Stay more open. Reach is certainly good, though. I'm going to take the Soul Summons. It's a 2-drop. It's a pretty good one. Certainly not insane. I just want to stay more open, like I said. Okay. If we run out of good actual white cards, then I'm willing to go into it. Like, Erishan Cleric's a fine card, but I'm not sure I need to take it here over like a Douse and Gloom or something. Like, Soul Summons is legitimately good because it does quite a few things. It allows you to manifest. It fills your graveyard for Delve. So you have a chance to hit a creature off the manifest. You fill your graveyard for Delve. You trigger Prowess. That's really why Soul Summons is so much better than what it looks like on the surface. It really does fuel like all of the mechanics of the format, really. So I could take the Cleric and stay white. Tempted to just take the Douse and Gloom, but there's also an Abzan Kinguard, which is a pretty good green card, actually. I'm going to take the removal here over the Erishan Cleric, only because the Erishan Cleric doesn't excite me that much. Okay, Dragonbell Monk seems like a fine card here, especially with the Citadel Siege. I like Prowess. There is a Gurmag Angler, which is a good card too. But I'm just going to take the Monk. I like the Monk. Some people don't like the Monk, which makes me sad. But no, I do like the Monk. Okay, I guess here I'm not really giving up anything. I'm just going to take the Jungle Hollow. I don't care enough about any of these other cards, and there's a chance that the Hollow works us into an Abzan deck, I guess. So I guess now if we already took a Douse and Gloom, Reach of Shadows would have been a better pick than Soul Summons, but I'm not like, that sad about it. Hooded Assassin is going to be a good card if we end up in Abzan because of the +1/+1 counters. There's a Hunt the Weak, which is removal too, but we might just end up black-white too. I'm not sure. For now, I mean, Pressure Point's a fine card too, actually. I could take the Pressure Point. I already built mono red. Maybe I go for a mono white. I'm going to take Pressure Point here. I'm intrigued enough about it. All right, well, Sultai Emissary is a pretty good card. I certainly like Emissary, I think, more than Pressure Point. But, I mean, multiple pressure points is fine too. There's really nothing wrong with Pressure Point. It does just straight up cycle itself and tap something. It's a nice way to buy time, get a little tempo. I mean, Emissary's good. I'm going to take the Pressure Point. I'm intrigued enough about monocolor in this format where I'm going to try and maybe go for it here. All right, Dragon Bell Monk, certainly taking number 2. Hero's Blade, why not? Wind going monocolor. All right, well, I actually like Scroll to Masters. Some people don't. We already have quite a few things that trigger it, so why not? All right. Table the Cleric anyway. All right, I'll take it. I could take a Skirmisher too, but let's take the Cleric. All right, so maybe we go for a mono white. I know it's ridiculous, but enough people seem to enjoy the mono red where I'm willing to at least try and do mono white. And we'll set all of our black stuff in the sideboard for now in case I end up, going into that. Just in case I need it. Take the Rune Mark. And last pick, Skirmisher. All right, well on our way to mono white here. Skirmisher, I don't actually mind that much in this deck because, well, I'm going for mono white, but we also have Citadel Siege, Hero's Blade, and Scroll to Masters. 3 cards that can help us push through some evasive damage. This would be interesting if I could make a mono white deck. I mean, these next couple packs are going to really, I think, punish us a little bit because there's just so much rewards for being multicolor. But I've played this format so much that I'm at least intrigued by monocolor. All right, let's take the Battle Priest. I think that's a pretty easy pick. It's going to be remarkably good with Citadel Siege. And it's just a great card in general anyway. So what are we hoping to wheel? A Witness or a Kill Shot? Both of those seem fine. Mono white. This should be interesting. Okay, Jeskai Student's going to work well with Soul Summons, Pressure Point. A lot of our 2-drops actually. And works fine with Citadel Siege. It's just a cheap thing to do. All right. Oh wait, Bloodstained Mire. I have to see if that's worth anything. All right, I'm taking the Bloodstained Mire. It's actually worth a Cons of Tarkir booster, so I'm just paying for like close to a third of my draft taking it. Ooh, Suspension Field seems like a pretty easy pickup. Strong removal. God, can we make the excuse me, mono white dream happen? Uh-oh. Looks like we're missing here. Just in case I need to play black, I'm tempted to take the Sidisi's Pet. Especially with Citadel Siege. Yeah, I'm going to take the Pet, just in case we need to end up black. Could take the Windscarred Crag, leave us open for like a red splash, but we've already got Douse and Gloom, so if I'm going to play a second color, it's probably black. We have all these pump effects. Yeah, I think actually Pet would be good in this deck. But yes, I am deliberately going for a mono color deck again because it's something fun to do in this format. Kieran seems great in this deck, by the way, with Hero's Blade and Citadel Siege. I honestly think we could very easily end up playing monocolor again. That would be interesting. So I need some more creatures. Currently I have 7 with the Soul Summons. All right, let's take the Dragon Throne. Could take Jungle Hollow, but no, let's take the Dragon Throne. Why not? I've played it before. Okay, second Dragon Throne. That's funny. We're going to take Up Arms over the second one, for sure. Take Up Arms is actually a good card. Really good card with all the prowess. Hopefully we wheel that Student. I guess if we don't, it's not that big of a deal. All right, Salt Road Patrol. Taking it. I mean, one nice thing about drafting monocolor, it's an easy deck to draft. You're either taking a white, whatever white's left, or artifact creatures. All right, let's hate here. Let's hate the Winter Flame. I am pretty confident we're going to be able to make a monocolor deck here, which is cool. I don't need to hate Feed the Clan that much. This deck is not going to be as aggressive as our red deck. This is much more of a... the Dragon Throne surprisingly gives me a late game plan, which is kind of nice. So we're more of a survivor deck now. So I'd rather hate the Prowler, which is probably the best card remaining in that pack. Do we have that many flyers? We have what? A Skirmisher, Kieran. That's not that much to justify hating a Windstorm, but I guess otherwise I maybe just hate the Archer in case someone needs it. All right, Venerable Lamassu, you got it. Mono white. Mono white. So deck is currently only rocking 10 creatures, including the soul summons. So definitely need some more creatures. Hey, open a on color sweet rare. That's cool. All right, so we're going to take the Master of Pearls, hope to wheel the Student, although we didn't wheel Student last time. Smite, Timely Hordemate, any of those would of course be great, but yes. Take the on color rare. Why wouldn't we? So we need, I would like at least 4 more creatures. Bondkin seems like a pretty good one. Especially with the +1/+1 counters. Battle Priest and Bondkin out together is going to be pretty awesome. Feat of Resistance is something I would very much like to see in this deck as well. But priorities, priorities, priorities. We need creatures. Actually, we actually have 13 creatures because I am going to count Take Up Arms as a creature as well. This deck looks fun. This looks like a fun deck, regardless of whether it performs. I'm on a monocolor kick here. Well, my prayers were answered. We did get the Feat of Resistance, so we're going to slam that over some really good black cards that if I was playing 2-color I would like to have. But no, monocolor all day, every day. So 13 creatures. I would like at least 14, which means we only need 1 more, which isn't bad. But I think our first cut is likely going to be... I'm debating whether it's the Hero's Blade or the Dragon Throne. Second, Salt Road Patrol. Certainly not a very exciting pick, but one we'll take. Maybe the Dragon Throne can get the axe because we already have so many 4-drops. Do have a lot of 4-drops. All the patrols, huh? Probably don't need a Heartpiercer bow. All right, Patrol for days. Actually, I mean, at least Patrol's good in this deck alongside the Battle Priest and the Bondkins. Let's take another feat. Let's think about some cuts here. Triple Salt Road Patrol, all of these 4-drops. I mean, the thing is, with all of these like roadblocks, Dragon Throne actually seems a lot better. Because if you can survive to the late game, Dragon Throne just takes it over. I've certainly won the game with Dragon Throne. I mean, this is an easy Feat of Resistance, but I need to... All right, here I think I'm going to hate the Abzan Guide because that card is pretty good. Here I guess we'll hate the Bloodfire Expert. It's kind of a good card. So what's the good news about this deck? Good news is we have enough creatures to make this deck good. Bad news is, good news is we table the Student too. That's awesome. What's the bad news about this deck? There's really nothing that horrendous about this deck. There's nothing horribly bad about this deck. It's a middle of the road deck, even if it was 2 or 3 color. What am I hating here? I guess probably Shambling Attendance is pretty good. Do I need triple Salt Road Patrol? Probably not. Am I going to do it anyway? Possibly. I mean, it's a 17 land deck. That's a nice thing. Maybe I don't need the Skirmisher. 1-mana 1/1s don't excite me that much, even when I've got Scroll of Masters and Hero's Blade. I think I'm going to hate the boon here. I mean, I could take Siegecraft, but as mentioned, we already have more than enough 4-drops. Maybe I hate Whirlwind Adept too. Actually, I think Dragon Scale Boon's more annoying. I hate attacking into a Dragon Scale Boon. It's such a big setback. All right, whatever. I don't even have that many colorless creatures. I've yet to play that card. So we ended up with enough creatures. We ended up probably enough 2-drops. What are the weakest cards in our deck? What are the strongest cards in our decks? The strongest cards are, in order, probably Citadel Siege and Master of Pearls. The weakest cards in our deck, I would think, are Pressure Point, maybe? More likely Scroll of the Masters or Hero's Blade. Let's do a count for Scroll of the Masters. I'm going to need quite a bit to justify playing it. Well, to be honest, I have more than you might think. It doesn't count itself. So if we're not counting Scroll of the Masters, we have 2, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 cards that trigger it. Yeah, Scroll of the Masters actually seems pretty good in here. I could cut the Hero's Blade. I could see that. If I cut the Hero's Blade, I'm pretty tempted to cut the Skirmisher. Even though it flies, it's kind of an overall underwhelming creature, especially in this deck. And like I said, I kind of want to keep the Salt Road Patrols. They're good roadblocks. And if we're running Dragon Throne, which I would like to, these roadblocks are going to be huge. You really need to buy a lot of time. And once you've bought enough time, you can just get these explosive turns with Dragon Throne. This card is pretty universally hated by almost everyone but me. I think we're going to ditch the Hero's Blade. There's a decent argument for it, but since we already have Scroll of the Masters and Dragon Throne, I would say I'm good. How much would it cost total? I pay 3 plus... I pay 6... Wait, no. I pay 5, and I could pump something and then tap and give everything else. Yeah, I guess that would work. Take up Arms the creature, and Soul Summons the creature. So we need to make 2 more cuts unless I want to do 16 lands. But if I want to do 16 lands, I don't think I'm running Lamassu. Now I'm kind of tempted to keep triple Salt Road Patrol, to be honest. Let's cut the Skirmisher. I feel like that's an easy cut. It's just an underwhelming creature, like I said. Could cut 1 Pressure Point. I do kind of like Pressure Point in this deck, though, for the Scroll of Masters, the Student, the Double Dragon Bell Monk. But, I mean, they're not great at triggering prowess unless you're doing them aggressively. And I'm not sure how aggressive this deck is. Salt Road Patrol also seems like a great card with Citadel Siege, just because it's such a huge body. I mean, Lamassu, I'm basically just running because it's a big fat finisher. And like I said, we're not hyper aggro, so it seems like it would work. How's our removal looking? What do we got? Suspension Field, Sandblast. That's it. All right, that's not that much removal. A little bit short on the removal front, which when you're playing a slower deck like we are, that's not the best of news. But, I mean, we still have some powerful effects in here. We have some good blockers. How good is Take Up Arms in here? I mean, it's good with Dragon Throne. It actually triggers Scroll of the Masters, so that is good. Okay. Yeah, maybe these do need to go. I mean, 15 creatures total right now. Yeah, that's pretty good. I think with all the 4-drops we've got, the clunkiness, I kind of need to run 17 lands, even though we're monocolor. Pretty tempted to just cut 1 Pressure Point, because I want all my creatures. I do like Pressure Point, but not as much as Feat of Resistance, and certainly not more than Suspension Field. And I'm still interested enough in Scroll of the Masters. Like I said, well, I guess if I take out Pressure Point, let me think. If I take out Pressure Point, I'm going to be still left with 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 things that trigger Scroll of Masters. That's like a fourth of our deck, close to it. It's not bad. This card is certainly not well respected either, but I like it. I mean, I think I'm cutting a Pressure Point, I think. I can't imagine. I want to keep all the rares I can in my monocolor deck. How many rares am I running? It's always funny to count that. Scroll, Dragon, Siege, this. What was that, 4? 4 rares? Yeah, that's not that bad. All right, this deck's funny. Tell you that much. Well, we don't need to sort by color, I guess, huh? It's pretty obvious. So curve looks decent. Didn't get that many morphs, but looks like a fun deck, regardless of how we do. Still happy I picked up that Bloodstained Mire, even though I missed out on a Just Guy student, which would be good for our deck. It just helps to recoup losses that I may incur during this draft. All right, 17 planes, 40 card deck, and I guess we're gonna run it like this. I want it to sort different. There we go. I gotta move my morphs back. Take a quick picture of this deck. Only 2 morphs, is that right? Look at all these 4 drops, it's so clunky. That's all right. Yeah, we'll see how this deck does. This should be an interesting one. All right, we'll see you round 1.